Welcome to the Tinley Chamber Spotlight Cable TV show. My name's Maureen Cipolla, and I'm delighted to be your host. Can't believe we're here in November of 2017, how time flies. But before we get started, folks, I'd really like to give a warm thank you to our Chamber of Commerce for putting on such a phenomenal event, our Oktoberfest last month. It was a huge success, and it was a success because you came out to enjoy it. I'd like to thank our Chamber of Commerce, our members, our volunteers, and you for joining us. We look forward to many, many more. Well, tonight I'm excited to announce that we have two non-for-profit guests, members of the Chamber, and we're going to get the show started. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome my first guest, Colleen Kisel, the founder of the Pediatric Oncology Treasure Chest Foundation. Colleen, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Maureen, and thank you for this awesome opportunity to talk about the Treasure Chest Foundation. I think it's best to start with a little bit of history.
Absolutely, Colleen.
Just to paint a picture how the Treasure Chest Foundation evolved. It was 24 years ago. I heard the words, "I'm sorry to say your boy has cancer." And I always like to preface that my little boy had a perfect attendance in kindergarten and a perfect attendance in first grade. And on a Saturday morning, he woke up with flu-like symptoms, and we went to the pediatrician, and the pediatrician took one look at him and announced that we were to take him to Palos Hospital.
My goodness.
Yes, there's a saying, it comes in the night. Now, I can tell you that looking back, that little boy was as white as a ghost.
Aww.
I know. And I thought it was February, that he needed some sun.
Sure.
He was bruised, and I thought he was wrestling too much with his brother. But the pediatrician could see those signs and said, "Get to the hospital now." And once in the hospital, they asked me to sign some papers to rule out cancer. And I signed without a problem. I wasn't even afraid, or maybe I was in denial.
Sure.
Because I didn't know anybody who had cancer. I didn't have an aunt, uncle, grandma, grandpa, nobody. And so I signed the papers, and we had to stay overnight. And the next morning, this strange doctor walked in, and by the word strange, he was not my son's pediatrician. And he said, "Can you follow me," he said, "to the conference room." Kind of got the picture at that point that this wasn't good. And I was with my mom, luckily, and when the door opened up, there was members of the clergy and social workers and doctors, nurses. I mean, the room was full, and that's when he said, "I'm sorry, Mrs. Kisel, your son has cancer." And he kept talking, and I couldn't hear a word he said after that.
No.
And when that door opened, everyone gradually walked out, and when that door opened up, my little boy was on a ambulance transport cart. So, and we were off in an ambulance to Christ Hospital. So, imagine that. That was just,
I can't. My gosh.
And I'm just, I can say it today because I'm one of the lucky ones. My boy's 31 and so
alive.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So anyway, that was I had the opportunity to see what it's really like for a little boy or a little girl to go through cancer treatment. First of all, it's a minimum of 2.5 years. And my little boy went through 3.5 years of treatment. And they don't, they like you to go home and come back to this clinic. In the beginning, 2 or 3 times a week, and in the middle, once a month. And at the end, it's maybe once every 3 months or something. But every time you walk through the doors, you undergo a painful procedure like a spinal tap or a bone marrow aspirations. And here's the kicker. These kids are not knocked out. I would have thought they were rolled into a surgical center. No, they have a little numbing cream on their spinal column or on their leg for a bone marrow aspiration. And then they go in and perform these procedures, but the goal is to keep the little one awake so he or she can get up and go home.
My goodness.
So it makes kind of sense, but anyway, going through 3.5 years of that, they never had a sticker or a sucker for my son or any of the kids. And there's a saying, the fog lifted, and my little boy knew when you went through the doors of that hospital, you were going to go through something really, really dreadful.
Sure.
So he started fighting. He didn't want to leave the house. He climbed up on the top bunk bed and burrowed into the wall, and he didn't have a ladder, so I couldn't grab him. But that was the moment I decided I was going to bribe my son with toys. But it was also a moment in time that I wasn't sure he was going to live either, and I was going to make this life good, And I had I purchased a trunk full of awesome big giant toys, and I would eventually bribe him to leave. So I'd hold these toys up, and then he started loving to go, So I don't know if loving's the right word, but he started
take the sting out a little bit.
Yes,
Boy.
He started walking out the door. And then afterwards, there it was, that big toy, and it was wrapped. And there's a saying amongst moms, it's not amongst doctors, that if your little one makes it through the treatment without a relapse, and a relapse means the reoccurrence,
yes,
you are likely one of the winners, because it means the chemotherapy drugs worked. And so my son made it to 3.5 years. He did not have a relapse, and wow, I thought this was it, And I imagined a program of bribery for all the kids at Hope Children's Hospital. Well, at the time it was called Christ Hospital.
Yes.
And so it was an awesome idea, and the community got behind it, and it started out with used library books and used VHS tapes and used demo CDs. Those are things some people have never even heard of.
Right.
But we had this little rickety box full of all these used products, and boy, everyone thought it was worth $1 million,
Sure.
because they finally had something.
Yes.
So fast forward a little bit, our awesome community thought that's a good idea too,
And got behind it.
Yes, exactly. And toys started rolling in, good toys, nice toys, not used library books. And that became, the thinking became, why not Children's Memorial Hospital? Why not Comer Children's Hospital? And because of the influx of toys, and mostly the people, the community, because of the community, we could talk about today. Today, that program I talked about is called the Pediatric Oncology Treasure Chest Foundation. It serves 12,000 kids every month in 18 states in 51 institutions in the nation.
Congratulations,
So, yes.
Colleen. That is amazing.
Oh.
That is absolutely amazing. So we're talking about, did you just have a 20-year anniversary?
Yes.
So in 20 years, we went from one hospital to
51.
My goodness.
Yes, to 51. And it's probably difficult to see this picture, but our treasure chests are the size of a hope chest. They're the size of a hope chest. They are full of high-end, top-of-the-line toys. And I know Maureen can attest to it because she has been in our warehouse.
I have.
if we get lucky with schools in the community and churches in the community, and the thing about our little 20-mile radius, that 20-mile radius of churches, schools, and individuals and businesses serves 12,000 kids fighting cancer every month.
That's absolutely amazing, Colleen. Let's talk about a little bit of the behind the scenes. So where we started and where you're at today. How many employees do you have?
Oh, okay. I have currently 3. They're almost full-time, 35, 37 hours a week, and a bookkeeper. So we run on bare bones. I mean,
My goodness.
Yes.
So the behind the scenes, and so who ships out or who helps package the toys to refill the chest in these 51 locations?
Yes. So I always say we run a toy distribution operation. And one of my jobs is to bring the toys in. And then in the back of the bus, the warehouse, the toys are packaged and shipped out. So we have a toy distribution operation. a system. We know exactly how many pounds, we talk in terms of pounds. Like a big institution will require 120 pounds of toys every month.
Okay.
A smaller might require 60. So we have all that mapped, and we ship with UPS, or we have a handful of senior citizen men. I call them seniors, they're retired. That's probably a better word. They retired men who will drive these shipments to local Chicagoland institutions, children's cancer treatment centers, to a dock to meet the nurse out in front. So we're able to offset the cost of that shipping.
That's incredible.
Yes.
So volunteers coming in, helping out, whether it's packaging and or transport of the toys. That's fabulous, Colleen. You know, I really want to let the audience know too, because how can someone get involved and help the organization? What's the best way for them to find you? Of course, they can call the Chamber of Commerce at 708-532-5700 or visit our website. But what's the best way that someone can help these children fighting cancer in your organization?
Okay, let's talk about one of our greatest needs. We need items for teenagers fighting cancer. We really hit the mark when it comes to bringing in toys, but we serve kids up to 18 years of age. So that might look like high end, it might look like a wallet, but lower end, it might look like earbuds. High end purses, lower end makeup, jewelry, costume jewelry.
Sure.
Medium CDs, DVDs, just anything a teenager likes. And of course, the gift cards. Gift cards in increments of $5.
As simple as $5.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes, we like to ship, we shipped out $20,000 worth of gift cards last year, but we like them to be the same increment. And kids can stockpile these because they will visit 3 times a week.
Sure.
So, and if we do bring in a 20 or 25, we will send our volunteers shopping for these teenagers.
Okay.
But we don't buy toys. We need items for teenagers.
For the teens. And what does that composition, I know it's hard because, what's the ratio of the age group of the teens or in the organization? I think I heard a statistic of a third of them are teens. Is that right?
Yes. Again, we serve 12,000 kids every month. Well, that includes teens. But no matter what, across the board, 1/3 of those kids will be teenagers. Now, there are currently 35,000 kids going through cancer treatment right now. So we're almost serving half. We're inching up there to serving half. But no matter what, 1/3 of those kids are teenagers.
Teens.
Yes.
So teen gifts are in need.
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
And now the holidays are upon us. We need the churches, the schools to host a holiday toy drive and maybe focus on teenagers.
Sure.
And we will do the work, Maureen.
Okay.
We will lay down the box that you collect. It's decorated with pictures and our logo. We will lay down the box in your facility. We will create the literature that you will send on Facebook or in an email blast. We'll create all that. We have the ways and means to do that for you.
That's excellent, Colleen.
Yes.
And our interview is almost, time is almost up, but I really thank you for being on the show. But let's, what kind of parting message can you share with our audience so they can get involved with the Pediatric Oncology Treasure Chest Foundation?
Thank you. I would like to reach out to the community once again and ask you to consider hosting a holiday toy drive. There's a saying, you have to make hay when the sun shines. December is the time of year to bring in the toys and bring in the gifts for kids. And we will provide the collection box, the pickup, the literature. All we need are your customers. So please call the Treasure Chest Foundation. Go to our webpage, which is treasurechest.org. Very easy. Find all the information you need, or our phone number is 708-687-TOYS.
Colleen, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you, Maureen, for having me.
I'd like to welcome our next guest. We actually have a party of 2 here from Sertoma Centre, and we're really excited to have them on the show. I'd like to welcome Gus Van de Brink, who is the Executive Director, and Ericka Glorious Moore, who's not a stranger to us at the Chamber of Commerce. This is her second or third time on the show.
Many.
And yes, Ericka handles the marketing and PR for Sertoma Centre. So welcome both of you to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Feeling good today?
Yes.
Yes, very
Great.
good.
Well, we're excited to have you. Gus, I'm going to start with you. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your role with Sertoma Centre.
Well, I'm Gus Brink. I'm the Executive Director at Sertoma Centre, and I've actually been working with the agency for 24 years, so been around a while, seen a lot of things change. The agency has grown to serve many, many more people with disabilities over those years, and that's something that I'm excited about, that our board and staff are excited about, because we're helping many, many people in the community.
Excellent. So for our viewers that are not familiar with Sertoma Centre, if you can give us a little bit of the detail of what exactly your foundation does.
Sure. Well, Sertoma Centre was started in 1971, and we were actually started by 3 Sertoma clubs, which are like Lions and Qantas, our service club.
Okay.
And there was a challenge given to them to start an organization that would serve people with disabilities, adults that needed services that were graduating from high school. So in 1971, they got donations together. They got the land donated by our neighbor now, the Lombard Corporation, and they built a 3,000 square foot building and started a program, basically what was called then a sheltered workshop for people with disabilities. Speed ahead, over the years, we've grown from serving about 50 people to now serving over 1,500 people a year.
That's amazing. And how many locations?
We have 3 primary day program locations. 2 of them are in Alsip, and 1 of them is in Matson. And then in addition, we offer residential services, and we have 10 group homes in the community where we have 24-hour support staff helping people being supported in their own homes.
That's amazing. So how does someone find you?
Just go to the web.
Okay.
Go to sertomacenter.org, and we're there, and you can read about all our programs and services. We also do a lot of work with a referral agency, Suburban Access, in the suburban area. They refer many people and do eligibility assessments and stuff for the individuals we serve.
Okay. Wow, that's just amazing, and the growth is just wonderful. First of all, 3 locations in Ericka. I know being in the marketing and public relations role, let's talk a little bit about that and how you help the organization and spread the word.
Well, I consider mine like the fun role. I get to have all the creativity and excitement. So when I came along, I've implemented a lot of the newer technologies that we see with, first of all, we revamped our whole website. I had an opportunity to do that. So it's all mobile friendly as well now. People can go on there and purchase tickets for events. So we streamlined it so that we can use our Facebook page and have people buy our tickets and all the different things on there. So that helps with our fundraising and everything like that. We also did, what's new is our Facebook Live, which we did last year, which we'll get more into that later.
Yes.
But that was another thing we implemented. We also do YouTube channel that I had the opportunity to create. So we do these videos now, promo videos that also gives us more exposure. We've raised our increase to, we're almost close to 1,000 likes now on our Facebook page. When I started, it was around 333. So we're getting out there, we're getting the word out, and it's a lot of fun in this role.
Excellent. And Gus, going back to your role, 24 years with the organization, that's really something to be said for. It's amazing, and I can tell
Never
that.
thought I'd be anywhere that long, of course.
How did you give us a little bit of your background and kind of your role within the organization?
Well, obviously, I do a lot of administration, but I'll have to tell you that one of the things I enjoy most is I still am on the lunch duty schedule in our day program.
Are you really?
And that's when I get to see the faces and get to interact with
wonderful.
the consumers that we serve. And you know, just a little bit more about our services. We serve individuals who may have a very severe and profound disability and need a lot of support, even personal care, to individuals that are just looking for a job in the community. So we see the full gamut of people and their abilities and the disabilities that sometimes challenge them in what they're trying to achieve. And in addition, we also serve quite a few people with a serious mental illness. So we're doing work with them to help them stay in recovery, to manage their symptoms, and to have an independent life and make sure they can stay in the community as well.
That's excellent. And you know, how is it funded, I guess, or is this an insurance covered event, if you will, or?
No, actually, the services that we provide are the majority covered by Medicaid. So the
Okay.
individuals that we have are on Medicaid, and they're eligible for those services because they have a disability.
Okay, well, that's good to know. Let's talk a little bit about some of the programs, because it sounds like there's different sectors, if you will, of the needs of the individuals that come to you and that you're working with. What type of programs are presently offered?
For individuals that are able to work in the community or that are working towards that goal, we would have day program, recreation, skill training, those types of programs at our site there. We also do a lot in those programs of bringing people out in the community, going out in the community, whether it's going to Navy Pier, it's going to the museum, going
little
out for
field trip.
lunch, lots of community field trips. And then with a person with greater disabilities, we are really working to encourage them to try a job in the community, to try to gain the skills to get a job in the community. And we've been doing job placement services, doing community job placement services since 1974. So almost since we started have we been putting people and helping support them in their jobs in the community. And then something we added a little later in the 90s was our residential services, our group homes, when there was actually a great need, and individuals actually, when they downsized the state institutions back in the 80s, I guess I should say 70s and going to the 80s, they actually placed a lot of people in nursing facilities. So in the 90s, we were helping people move out of those facilities because they didn't have a medical need. They just were put there because they had a disability.
Is that right?
So that's what's really exciting when you see a person blossom, and if they move out of an institutional setting, or they get their own place, or they're just able to move into one of our group homes and have their own space and everything, they just, it's just really rewarding to see them blossom in their lives.
That's incredible, and the great things that you're doing in your organization. I know that I certainly want to dig in a little bit more. Events are very important, and you know that's what we need and you need to keep things going. So first of all, for our viewers to find out more about Sertoma, you certainly can call us at the Tinley Chamber of Commerce at 708-532-5700. Ericka, let's talk about some of those events, because I know you're really excited, and there's some events coming up to let our viewers know and how they can participate.
Oh yes, so we have so many ways and so many that's coming up. One is Giving Tuesday. It's a global event now. I think it's 5 or 6 years running now.
Wow.
It's a day of charity. So it's Thanksgiving, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, then Giving Tuesday. So it's known as a day that you give to your favorite charity. And so it's built up a lot of momentum through the years. Last year was our first year. The Coleman Foundation matched us. If we raised $10,000, then they matched us $10,000.
Congratulations.
Yes, thank you. And we did that goal, and we superseded it. And Gus also got a pie in the face for
Yeah,
that.
that was my Facebook Live.
And that was Facebook Live. So this year we're doing it again. Coleman is also going to match us again. But this year's our campaign is called Sertoma 100 Challenge. We want 100 people to be able to give $100, and Coleman will match $100. So if you get 100 people, we'll get the $10,000.
That's fantastic.
So Giving Tuesday is on November 28th. It's a Tuesday. But leading up there, if they go to our Facebook page, every Tuesday before then, we're going to have this fun videos with teasers on there, and it's going to be called Miracle on 123rd Street. So keep a lookout for that. Our second thing is our Holiday Bazaar Arts and Crafts Fair. We've never extended it before. It's always just been the Holiday Bazaar on Friday, and it gives the opportunity for our consumers to be able to purchase gifts for their loved ones and family, and it was open to the public, but in a smaller capacity. Now we've opened it up to Saturday, 9 to 3 at our 127th location, and we are wanting at least 100 vendors. So that's a pretty big pill we want to swallow, but we're doing good and we're getting the word out, but we're still looking for vendors, and we want everybody to attend. Only a $2 admission, so anybody that's interested in coming out to that, please come out. Then just to give you a little snippet ahead, we do have our annual Housewares Show Pack Up, which is March 13th. We always need 150 volunteers for that. And then April is our super sale, Houseware super sale that everybody knows in the community. And that's tentative beginning of April. And then big event is May 5th on Cinco de Mayo.
Okay. So we're looking for volunteers.
Yes.
And the community really to come out and support Sertoma. What are some of the challenges that you're experiencing, and what can we share with our viewers on how they can help?
Well, I think one of our biggest challenges is is really, for the services we do, the rates that we get paid by the state through Medicaid system are very,
okay.
very low. A huge challenge to keep things going as things get more expensive. For instance, in our day programs, we have not had a rate increase in our state rates for approximately 9 years, and we keep doing the same thing, and it's more and more difficult. So we need people, obviously, to support
Cost of
us
living.
financially if
Right.
they can at all. That's one of the challenges we have, is to really get that word out, and also to tell the leadership in our state that they need to have the right priorities for what they do, because when Illinois ranks 47th in funding of community services and has I think we rank 5th for per capita income, there's something wrong with that picture.
There's an
So,
imbalance, absolutely.
So we need advocates, and we need people to support us in those things, because it's a challenge financially to do business the same every year.
So what's the best way, is correspondence, phone, coming into one of your locations if someone wanted to get involved and help?
Oh, yes. you would-
Anything?
You're the PR marketing, so I thought I'd
Yeah, okay, that's what you look at me. Yeah, actually, you would call Laura Gardner, but you could call our phone number, 708-371-9700, and ask for Laura Gardner. She's our volunteer manager. And then for our special events, we always are needing help for everything. If people want to donate or give for sponsorships for our events that are coming up, you call Lisa Malloy at the same number, 708-371-9700.
Okay, so the best way is to call to get involved, and really you've defined a need here, so to keep things growing and strong, and you're doing, again, such a wonderful thing. Are there any other things that we can share with our viewers as far as, I know there's a lot of events. The next event, we're already in November, which is just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Talking about a Saturday event, is there any other donations or needs as far as you're doing a craft fair, perhaps?
Actually, you know what, one which it's really interesting, it's really hard to get technology donated. And we, in our program areas, we use tablets.
Okay.
So iPads are preferred because they have more applications we can use.
Okay.
That's a big one, if we could get those for our consumers in the work.
So technology, wonderful. Well, it's been just a thrill to have you on the show, and we thank you. We just have a small amount of time left. We wish you a very prosperous rest of the season, and if you have a parting message for our audience.
Sure. I guess I would just like to say, get involved, get to know somebody with a disability, be an advocate for people with disabilities. There's so many individuals out there with great skills and talents that aren't being given just that opportunity. So call us, donate, be a volunteer, and do something for the community.
Thank you very much. Well, to find out more about Sertoma and how you can help, you can reach us at the tinleychamber.org website or call us at 708-532-5700. It's been a great show. We wish everyone a very happy and safe Thanksgiving, and thanks again for being on the show.
Thank
Thank you.